Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be illustrating how to draft a female waistcoat pattern. If it's something that you're interested in, then stay tuned. This video is definitely for you. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed already, please do so before you leave. So without much further ado, let's get right into this video. So I already went ahead to place some vertical measurements on the pattern paper. My shoulder to my waistline 17 inches, my shoulder to bust point 10 inches, shoulder to chest line 8 inches, and then my shoulder, half of my shoulder measurement, that's 7.5. Then from that point I came down 1 inch for shoulder slope, and then for the neck width I'm using 3 inches by 3 inches for the front neck measurement. Going back to my waistline measurement of 17 inches, I'm going to be increasing the length of this waistcoat by 3 inches. So in total, it's going to be 20 inches. It totally depends on you. You can do more than that if you want. But for me, I want it to be 20 inches. So that is what I marked there. I'm going to connect it together using a straight ruler. Then the next thing I'll be doing is to go over to my chest line area and input my bust circumference measurement on my chest line. So the bust I'm working with is 40 inches divided by 4 gives me 10. So I'm going to be placing that 10 inches on the chest line there. Then from that 10 inches I'm going to be going down by half an inch, so that adds a little bit of ease to the underarm area. Now I'll measure what I have there and take the midpoint of that, which is 4. So from that 4 I'm going to be coming out by 1 inch. It depends on what you want. If you want that side to be a little bit exposed, you could do 2 inches or 1.5, but I came out by 1 inch on that side. Then I'll go over to the neck area and come out by 0.5 on that shoulder slope right there. Then the other side I'll also come out by 1 inch. Doing that reduces the shoulder slope to about 3 inches. You could do lesser than that if you want. Totally depends on you, but mine is 3 inches. So now I'll just connect these points together to form my armhole using my armhole curve. Now the next thing that I want to do now is to place the quarter of my waist measurement on my waistline and also on the extended length of this top. After placing that, I'm going to be adding 1 inch of that I want to use on that waist later. I'm going to be adding that on the waistline and also on the extended length of this top, and then I'll connect all the points together all the way to the chest line. The next thing that I want to be doing now is to place my bust span measurements on the necessary places. The bust span measurement I'm working with is 9 inches. Divided by 2 gives me 4.5. So I'll place that on the bust point, on the waistline, and also on the extended length of this top. So that's what I'm doing. So before I connect those points together, I'm going to be going over to the other side there and placing 1 inch outward for my button extension. So I'm going to be placing 1 inch there for my button extension, and then I'll connect the points together like so. So I'm just going to be using marker to draw out that line to make it visible. Now for the design at the lower part of this waistcoat, I'm going to be going in by about 2.5 inches. You could do more than that or lesser, depends on what you want. But I'm going to be going in from that edge by 2.5 inches. I'll mark it. Then I'll go down from that point by about 3 inches. You could do 4 inches, depends on what you want. Now after coming down by 3 inches or whatever inches you want to use for the depth of this design, you will make sure that it aligns together with the 2.5 inches that you measured for the width earlier. Then you take your ruler and then you connect from the edge of the side front, just like I'm placing it. You connect it down to that 3 inches by 2.5. Then from that point you connect it into the center front and into the button extension, just like I'm doing. I hope you understand. So that's where we've already drawn out our design. Then I'll go over and complete my bust span measurements. I'll also place it on that side, the 4.5. Then I'll connect together on a straight line like I'm doing. So before I place my waist dart, I'm going to be placing my bust dart at the side first. And the reason for that is because the half length for the front and back is usually not the same. So the difference between the front half length and the back half length for this pattern is 2 inches. So I'm going to be accounting for that 2 inches on the front pattern as the bust dart. In order for me to do that, I'll go to the bust point and go out to about 1 inch like that. And then I'll go to the bust line and then come down by 2 inches and connect to that point. So by doing this, we formed our bust dart or our side dart. The next thing I want to do now is to go to the bust point and come down about 1 inch. Then I'll go over to the waistline and take about half an inch on both sides of the waist to form the darts. After doing that, I'll go over to the hem of the waistcoat and come up about 2 inches. After doing that, then I'll connect all the points together to form the darts. Now it's time to redraw our neckline. So I'm going to be maintaining the chest line area as the depth of this neckline. So I'll connect it back into the 3.5 that we have now as the new neck width using my curved ruler. So I'll be connecting first with a pencil and then with a marker. So what I'm doing is just basically using the marker to draw out that line to make it visible. So in order to avoid gaping at the armhole area, I'm going to be coming down by about 4.5 inches from the shoulder slope, and then I'll be connecting it straight to the bust point. So after connecting straight to the bust point, I'm going to be going back to the armhole and taking out about 1 inch out of the armhole to avoid gaping. So I'm taking out about 1 inch and then I'll connect straight back into the bust point again. So we are going to be closing the shaded part around the armhole. In order to avoid gaping also at the neckline area, you measure the neckline you have and you mark the midpoint. Then from the midpoint, you connect straight to the bust point, just like I'm doing. Then after connecting to the bust point, you take out about 1/4 inch on that side. You take out about quarter or half an inch if you want, but I'm taking out 1/4 inch, and then from that 1/4 inch I'll connect straight back into the bust point. So what I'm just doing is just cutting out the excess pattern paper. So I'm going to go over to the armhole area and slash open that paper at the armhole area. You slash it open towards the bust point, but not entirely on the bust point, but just a little bit towards the bust point, just like I'm doing. After opening that up, I will go over to the bust dart and temporarily close it by folding the paper, just like I'm doing. Then I'll also go over to the neckline and open up the neck dart that we placed there towards the bust point, just like we did for the armhole. Then I'll close the dart at the neckline area and hold it in place using a masking tape. So I'm going to be placing my curved ruler on it. I'm redrawing the new neckline. By doing so, we've eliminated any potential gaping the neckline might have. This way it's going to sit nice and firm on the neckline when sewn on the fabric. So I'm just going to cut it out now. So I'll be coming to the waist and opening up the dart at the waistline in order for me to close the dart at the armhole and redraw the shape of the armhole. So after opening up the dart at the waistline, I'll be able to close this armhole and reshape the line of the armhole. So I'm going to be using masking tape to hold it in place before we draw in the shape of the armhole. So I'm just going to be placing my armhole curve on that area and redrawing the shape of the armhole, thereby eliminating any potential gaping this area might have. I'm just making sure that I have my bust circumference measurement complete here. Now I'm going to be cutting out the excess paper around the armhole. For the princess cut design, I'm going to be placing my curved ruler around the armhole, that area, and then I'll be drawing out this curved shape into the bust point, making sure that I don't have any sharp edges at that area, just like I did. Then after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut out all the excess paper around this pattern. Now getting to the bust dart, I'm going to be closing up the bust dart and redrawing the side seam towards the chest circumference area like this. And after doing that, I'll use my tracing wheel to trace out the shape of the dart legs before cutting through the paper. Then I'll go ahead and cut through the waist dart into the princess seam just like I'm doing, thereby separating the pattern into two pieces. Then I'll go ahead and just indicate where the buttons will be placed on the front pattern just like I'm doing. Now for both the side front and the center front of this pattern, you'll be needing two pieces each when cutting on fabric for this. So now let's move on to the back pattern. Now every other measurement is pretty much the same as the front except for the half length of the back, which is 15 inches instead of 17 for the front. So for 15 inches at the back, I'm going to be increasing the length of this waistcoat by 3 inches just like we did for the front. So that's what I'm marking. So I'll have a total of 18 inches as the length of this waistcoat for the back. Just like I did for the front pattern, I'm going to be coming down 10 inches from the shoulder line for the bust point, and then I'll be coming down 8 inches for the chest line, and then I came down 1 inch and then connected to the neckline of 3 inches by 1.5 for the back neck measurement. Just like I did for the front pattern, I'll be coming out by 0.5 inch on that line. Then I'll go to the other side and also come out by 1 inch. Then I'll measure what I have on this line and take the midpoint. From that midpoint, I'll be coming out by half an inch and I'll mark it like so. Then the next thing I'll be doing is to go over to the chest line area and place my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 10. Then from that point, I'm going to be coming down by half an inch just like I did for the front to create the ease around the underarm. Then I'll connect the 3 points together to form my armhole. Then I'll go ahead and place my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch of that on the waistline and also on the extended length of the waistcoat. After placing the measurement, I'll connect the points together towards the bust line like so. Next thing I'll be doing now is to extend my neckline. I'll be connecting from the half an inch that I took earlier. So the width of the neck will now be 3.5. So I'll be connecting the 3.5 width into the 1.5 that we drew previously, just like I'm doing. So now I'll go over to the bust line and place my bust span on input to nipple measurement of 4.5. I'll place it on the bust line, on the waistline, and also on the extended length of the waistcoat, just like I'm doing. And then I'll connect together on a straight line like so. So I'll go over to that line on the waistline and take out half an inch on both sides for my dart, and I'll also go down to the extended length and also take out half an inch on both sides. Then I'll connect straight up to the bust point like so. Now to avoid gaping at the armhole, I'm coming down by 4.5 inches like so. On that 4.5 inch mark, I'm going to be going out by 0.5 inch. That's the amount I want to take out from the armhole to avoid gaping. So on that part, I'm going to be connecting straight to the bust point on both sides like this. So after this, I'll be going over to the waist dart and cutting through the waist dart towards the bust point. After doing that, I will also go over to the armhole and cut through the dart at the armhole in order for me to reshape the armhole and take out any excesses. So after cutting through the dart at the armhole area like this towards the bust point, I'm going to be closing up the excess at the armhole area, the excess dart that we had before. I'll close it and then use a masking tape to hold it in place before I go ahead to reshape my armhole. So I'll just go ahead and place my curved ruler at the armhole area to reshape my armhole at this point. By doing this, we've removed any potential gaping that might happen at the armhole area when sewing on fabric. After doing that, I'm just going to be cutting out the excess paper. Now I'm going to be placing this princess seam line at the armhole just like we did for the front. I'll be using my curved ruler to draw out the princess seam right now, making sure we don't have any sharp edges. Then I'll be cutting out the excess paper at the hem line and also cutting through this princess seam like so. So we'll be having two pieces for the side back like I'm indicating right there, and then for the center back it depends. You could cut it on fold, so you'll be having just one piece for that if it's on fold, and you could open it up at the center, then it's going to have a seam at the center. If you are doing that, you're going to be cutting two pieces, but for me I want it to be just one piece, so it's going to be on fold. So I'm just labeling that right now. So guys, I want to quickly show you how the side back and the side front are aligned together. They are the same length, even though we have different half lengths for the front and back. It's because of the bust that we took earlier. That's why they are aligned together. Don't forget that while you're transferring to your fabric, you're going to be adding your necessary sewing allowances around the necessary places on both the front piece and the back piece. So I'm just indicating the areas you'll be adding your allowances. So this is the front pattern and the back pattern side by side. And this concludes the tutorial for today, guys. If you found my video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, share my video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so before you leave. And also please turn on your notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload new content. Till I see you in my next video. Bye.